Hello and welcome to this week's episode. In this vlog, I'm going to tell you all about my 4 essential techniques for achieving impactful photographs with your wide-angle lens. The wide angle is a key tool in the landscape photographer's bag, but it also comes with its own set of challenges. So I hope this tutorial will help you overcome those challenges and then walk home with the shots you're after.
Hi. Oof. Hi. Welcome to the Tarkine coast in Tasmania's far northwest. It's a long way from Hobart, but it's incredible. The whole Tarkine is incredible, but this coastline really does it for me because, as you can see, look at what the rocks are doing around here. It just looks like I'm on the moon. So I've driven out here the 6.5 hours from Hobart. 2 days ago, and I've set up camp around here, and every day I just sort of troll around and have a look at what there is to shoot and what I can take advantage of for golden hour, because one of the things I like doing over here, being on the west coast, I get the sunset over the ocean, and it's been a couple of crackers the last 2 nights. But yeah, so everything I've been shooting out here, most of what I've been shooting out here has been on my 16-35. So I thought I'd throw together a short video about, I think I've got 4 tips on how you can make the most of your wide angle lens and create impactful images. And I think that's the most important term here, is impact, because there are certain things you can do with the lens that I didn't know when I first started shooting it, and you end up with a nice wide scene, but it doesn't have that thing that draws you into it. And by impact, I mean, you're looking at the image and you feel dragged in and you're getting whacked in the face with whatever the actual photograph presents. This is my last morning here. I'm gonna head off into the rainforest soon, but I thought before I leave, I throw together this little tutorial on the 4 things that I learned that make the most of my 16-35 lens. I'll do the demonstration now, but the photos aren't going to be great at this point in time, obviously. Golden hour never actually happened this morning. But I've got a few shots from the last 2 nights and a couple of nice ones in there, and I'll show those at the end. But the 4 tips I'm talking about are the ones that I apply for every single one of those shots.
Technique number 1. Identify your subject matter first and then find leading lines.
What I'm shooting here needs to be a depiction of the area. I want to summarize what's great about this place and take it home. And the aspect here at these stacks and these ridges is ideal, because we've got all of that happening there and we've got the ocean surrounding it. So I've got this edge of the world, otherworldly almost feel to what the picture should be eventually. And plus, west is out that way, so the sunset's over there. So I know this is my subject matter. Now step 1 will be to find a good leading line that drives the viewer's eye into the scene. And obviously there's leading lines everywhere here. So in terms of leading lines, this is going to be quite easy, but I just want to find the right one that actually drives the eye in the right direction. Let's have a quick look around. Yeah, look at that. Leading lines left, right, and center. But really that leads us now to technique number 2.
Technique number 2. Go low and tilt your camera down towards the ground.
Rather than shooting high up at eye level, we want to take the camera and go low and also tilt it down. So rather than shooting this scene as such, eye level would be up here, we're going to go all the way down there, and then rather than being horizontal with the camera, we're going to tilt it down. So you see already how this scene is changing. Ooh, it's starting to rain. There might be a rainbow coming up. So rather than shooting upright, we're shooting like this. And now you've got leading lines that draw you over to these big stacks and actually pull you into the scene. If we're going into vertical, into portrait mode, it accentuates even more, right? So you, rather than shooting this, we could shoot that and the leading lines get very strong. However, I want to have the frame to the left and to the right here. I'd like to have the whole scene. Okay, so you see the difference. Eye level, horizontal camera orientation, low level, and we'll tilt it down. And all of a sudden the scene is starting to come together.
Technique number 3. Fill your frame with valuable information only.
All right, so technique number 3 would be to fill your frame. 60 millimeters is a very wide angle of view. We're getting, I don't actually know what the degrees are, but it's massive. So we're getting a whole bunch of image or landscape into the scene, which is great, but it's also a challenge because it means we need to make sure that more space is filled, A, with valuable components that add to the scene, and B, more space to coordinate pieces to one another, which is a compositional thing, and I can get into that in a different video. But for now, we'll talk about just filling the frame and filling the frame very consciously. So keeping in mind this is currently cropped. On video it's 16:9 frame, so really the actual photo would have more sky in it. But in terms of filling the actual frame, we have to have a look around and see how does this all speak to one another. This is nice. This is a leading line out from the left and one from the right, driving it into the center. Do I want to drive it into the center? Potentially, don't mind it. I also like this angle because it just balances the foreground very nicely to this C stack in the background. I would probably shoot both of these, but important is the frame filled with value? And I would say in this instance it is. There's nothing in that frame that would not add something of value to the final photograph. So we've got our foreground, we've got our elements on the ground sorted, but critical now is to keep in mind that if you're shooting a wide angle, you're always going to have a bunch of sky in it. So as I'm saying, you know, there's going to be more sky in the picture here because we're cropped in video. But this is the reason why I highly recommend, if you're going to have a lot of sky in your picture, shoot at the right time of day, shoot during golden hour, and make sure your sky actually adds something to the scene.
And technique number 4, remember to focus stack your scene.
And now the last and 4th tip is the result of the previous tips. So far we found our leading lines, we're going low, and we're filling the frame. But all of that means we're going to be dealing with elements very, very close to the lens. And that's why the 4th tip is to focus stack your scene. Chances are it's not all going to be in focus, and you'll hate it if you leave a place, go home, chuck the file on the computer, and the foreground is out of focus. So just to be safe, I always just focus stack my photos when I go this low to the ground. All right, and now how we're going to turn the focus stack around is I'm shooting at f11. F11 is very nice on this lens, and I use back button focusing. So I select a point, I zoom in, I'm doing this on the background now, zoomed in on it, and I press a designated button that I chose to activate my autofocus. So now we've got the background in focus, and we'll take that exposure. And from here, I'm going to work my way into the scene by starting right in the middle. Here we go. I'll focus on that. Got this one. And what I need to do now also is go to the bottom left and afterwards to the bottom right. So we'll zoom in here. That's out of focus, obviously, because it's so close to the lens. And lastly, we'll go all the way over to the right, which is looking fine, but let's not risk it. Here we go. Now that's in focus. And bang, that's it. Okay, those are the 4 techniques that I wanted to talk about. I apply them every time I shoot at the wide angle. I applied those the last couple of nights when I was walking around at sunset getting my shots. I'll put those shots up now. There's a couple in there I quite like, and I hope you do as well. Thanks, for watching. I really appreciate it. And I really do hope that these techniques will help you improve your wide angle photography, but really just be more satisfied and excited about the shots that you walk home with. So I'll leave you on that note. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.
And next is an example of portrait orientation. And I apply these same principles when I shoot waterfalls, when I shoot seascapes, or when I shoot grand scenes in the mountains. And that's it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed what you saw, maybe hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.